Hello, what's up? Wow, this is sweet. I'm on stage with Ja Rule. This is awesome. Anyways, I am talking about today video production. I am going to talk a little bit about, obviously everyone in here to some extent knows video is something that's a relevant medium to be doing content around in 2019, 2020. So what I'm going to do is kind of talk through a little bit of my story of starting my business and serving clients doing video content, and share a few kind of just things that I've done successfully for myself and for clients that you guys can kind of take away as you're doing various video stuff. I'll give a little background because I am like 26. I started my company about 8 years ago. And yes, I was 18. I was in high school. I had just got an iPhone and really just hated school. I just would film stuff and put it up on Facebook and just kind of troll people all day. Just really like to just not do what teachers say, things like that. I went down to Miami University to go to school. I don't know why, but ended up meeting a dude who had this video production company, and thought that was pretty cool. I called my dad. I'm like, "Hey, Dad, I'm dropping out. I'm starting a video production company." He was pretty pissed. So I moved home. I bought this camera for $600, and then I just went on Craigslist and started looking for whoever would hire me to do their video. At first, my company was called Giant Panda Productions, which is a stupid name. And then I called it Clum Media, because my last name's Clum, because it's like, media, which was my first business name for about the first year until, after a while, I asked my brother, "Bill, Clum Media, is that a good name?" He's like, "Yeah, it sounds fine." I'm like, "It doesn't sound too much like chlamydia, does it?" And he's like, "No, you're good." So I ran with it until like a year into the business. One of my clients pulled me aside like, "Dude, got to change the name." So I ended up changing it to Clum Creative. But from 2011 to now, we've been able to grow. We've got about 20 on staff. If we finish strong this year, we'll do about $3 million in revenue. And we do business-to-business content, business-consumer content for about 600 clients around the world. So it was a lot of fun to grow. So I think I'll talk about a few tactics that, for my own business, that was really helpful in doing that, going at least from that revenue to that. How many people in here own their own company? Okay, cool. So I think the first part of this will be super relevant to you, because I think one thing that when you're in marketing, a lot of the things that you're going to hear about are tactics and tips for consumer brands. And, as an entrepreneur or someone that needs to eat food, you need to be able to make money, and that's something that a consumer brand is going to do that, you're going to do is going to be completely different. So anyways, when I started my business, I got back, and I'll kind of talk about this next thing I'm going to talk about, which is the first tactic, which is, here we go. Okay, video as a function of direct sales. So when I first started, I was broke as fuck, okay? Like seriously broke, because I dropped out, and my dad was seriously pissed, because he had spent 10 grand on the semester, and I just one day I was like, "Yeah, I just don't go to school anymore." And before that, my life growing up in Westlake, I was like a golfer, country clubs. I never had a business. I never worked a job. I pretty much just went to the country club and just, ate food all day and played golf. I never had to make money. I was pretty much wealthy kid in Westlake, just doing whatever I felt like doing. And then one day when I dropped out, he's just like, "Yo, no more money," which sucked. Which sucked, dude. Yeah. So anyways, I had about a few $100. I spent it all. And then I had a business card, which the personal card bounces. Any of the entrepreneurs, some business cards, you can just keep going negative. Okay, so pro tip number one, get a business card. So I got down to like negative 250 because all the Craigslist jobs were not really working out that well that I was getting. They were like little rap videos or whatever I could find. Anyways, so it got to a point I had my last like few $30 or something. I remember I was in the Crocker Park Starbucks, and I'm like, all right, I need to get some clients. So I bought Crane's List, and then I bought Sales Navigator, and I'm like, I need some food. I am seriously hungry, and I'm going to get clients, and they're going to pay me money. So I started calling every agency I got the Crane's List. I just called them all. I just called the CEO. I was like, hello, I'm Mike. I could do videos for you. Can I do your videos? I wasn't very good at making calls, but I called everybody and just kind of built up, got my first few clients and, made some videos. And my first year in business, I did 24,000, which is a lot of $50 videos. It's like 80 $50 videos, and you don't eat a lot of food at 4,000. Then we did 23, and then 170, and then started to be able to grow. So the first thing I did after I had gotten a few clients was I think it was really revolutionary for me at the time was because I would go into these meetings. I look like a 12-year-old now, but I looked even younger like 6 years ago. I made this video. It was a brand video for my own company, and it was complete bullshit. I mean, I had like almost no clients. I put a camera down. I like fake interviewed myself. I'm talking. And then I got shots of. I just had people come over my office, and I just filmed them as if they were my employees. I did shots at this client shoot. All these people. None of these are my clients. None of these are. They're my clients and things, but none of them are my employees. That's not even my studio. I just tried to like create this brand video that could, if I had this 2-minute video, I could send to anyone. It's like, wow, that's a legit dude. So I made this piece, this content. It was 2 minutes long. It was me talking. I found this really good music track, and I put it together. I was a pretty good video editor, and I put it up. And using that tool, that's really, in my opinion, if any of you are doing direct sales, it was a super powerful tool in helping me go from $100,000 kind of freelance business owner to $1.5 million, $2 million in revenue. And basically what I did with it, I made the video and I just sent it to fucking everybody. I mean, short of spamming or whatever, I just called as many people as I could because I was literally hungry for food. And when a lot of you have jobs or whatever, you're marketers, if you've never felt, if you're your own business owner and you're too cocky to work for somebody, it's a hard middle ground. You have too big of an ego to go work for somebody, but you have no money and no clients. It's like that just like, I need food, I need money. So I made the video, I sent it around, and I just followed up. And that tool was super helpful because I could call on a CEO, a CMO, and I could send them this. And I made my entire message about, hey, just watch this video. And the video was good enough that, it really helped me set a ton of meetings. And by the time I got into the meeting, they liked me or whatever, and it was easier to sell. And then I took that video, I put it right on the top of my homepage. This is kind of a screenshot from my website. It's right there if you go to my website. It's in every of my email signatures. So the first thing, if anyone in here, who's in B2B? For B2B? So like me in B2B, I think the fact is it's really tough to do marketing and advertising. It just is. I'm not that creative. Sometimes it requires a certain degree of creativity to do content marketing and to understand things. You're leveraging creative talents. And for me, early on, I just was a hard worker, so I tried to leverage that. And if you're in B2B, the number one thing I'd recommend on the video front is looking at video as a function of direct sales. There's like 5 videos you need. The brand video, which is a 60-second homepage video that you send around to everybody. I'd make. Then you just have to understand the buyer's journey and all the stuff that they care about and different content you can make to support that. So the next thing for me, I went and made all these little like case study videos. So these are like 1 minute long. I just made my clients talk about me to my face, and then I would send those in follow-ups. Like this is King Nut, the peanut company. So if I'm calling out a food manufacturer, I'd say, hey, look at here's what King Nut said. Boom. And if they don't reply to that, then I have other videos. I think the other things you need, brand video, you need 3, 4, 5 case studies that target different industry videos. I would look at a video about pricing, a video about your process, a video about whatever kind of the core things are. Instead of kind of having your sales reps send the same email reply, after a while, if you're doing outbound, you'll start to see kind of the general questions that are asked. I would just make video content for that. Instead of, at the start in an entrepreneur setting or a business-to-business setting, making, broad ads or retargeting or kind of more sophisticated video, just make stuff that is right there you can send to people. So using that and using kind of making that content for myself, that's really what I was able to use to go from 0 to 3 million in essentially 3-4 years, and I would highly recommend. Obviously, there's a whole nother world behind it of targeting people, getting contact information, contacting them. I don't know, somebody earlier said something about cold calling 3%. Whatever, I'll take 3% better than $0 and 0% and broke. So I just did what I knew to do and the only thing I knew at the time. So I think if you're your own company, there's nothing more ethical or less ethical in business in terms of content marketing or cold call. It's all bullshit marketing. I mean, you could think, oh, content marketing's so good for the world. It's people are coming to you versus bother. Who cares? I mean, honestly, it's all capitalism, and we're all annoying everybody. But the content marketers just, it's like, I also do content marketing. I just don't care. I just do whatever I need to do to achieve whatever outcome I'm trying to achieve. So I don't demoralize, the other. Anyways, so that's direct sales. The next thing is a little bit of content marketing. So the other thing that kind of helped me in the path of growing the business was search. I ranked pretty well locally for Cleveland video production, which helped me get some clients early on. That's a whole SEO thing. I think all for local search. If any tips for any local entrepreneur, if you want to learn anything, and I learned SEO pretty quick, at least for local SEO, which wasn't that hard, was just Google how to rank top in local search. And there'll be like 60 different things. And then you just go to each one and you print them off, and there's like tons of little checklists. And as long as you can follow checklists and do the shit that they tell you to do, most of the time, all the market is asking is, will someone just do all these things? And most people that I found, at least a lot of my competitors in the space, they were just busy being in business. They were already in business for 10 or 15 years, and I was just this kid that I'm like, how do I rank top on Google? Oh, I have nothing to do all day. I'm broke. Oh, all right, here's a checklist. Let me just do all the checklists. I have nothing else to do. So I think even if you get to 10 or 15 people, you kind of have to maintain that mentality of like being a broke kid with nothing to do. And even now, I've tried to build my business where like tomorrow, or the rest of today, tomorrow, next day, I have nothing to do. I have absolutely nothing to do. I don't, I can either just sit and my company just keeps running, or I just keep trying to find new things. So I think that's a super important thing. But with this, with video, so I have this corporate video guide. It ranks pretty well for corporate video. So basically another tactic I'd recommend if you are who has a blog that actually like you take care of or care about. Okay, so I'm assuming there's videos, there's blogs that have more or less traffic amongst those. The next thing to do, you have the brand video, you have the case studies. The next thing to do is make videos that are for each of your top trafficked blogs. Okay, the videos, So this core video ranked pretty well, but I made this like 11 tips video, corporate video, 11 tips for success, and I talked for like 6 minutes about, basically verbalizing the blog, and this helped it rank a ton. Got just a ton more traffic, not because I was running ads from the video or anything like that, just due to the time on page. When you go to this blog and then you scroll down, it's pretty high up. And we found that, it's not like we found this is so innovative. I mean, it's just people clicked it, and the time on page, because it was a 6-minute video, was way higher, and the blog was already super long and well designed. The other thing, I think this has nothing to do with video, but there's a perception thing when you position certain blog content. If you just pay a little bit extra money and like design it out and add like, just make it look like, position it as more legitimate than it even is, people take it way more seriously than if it's just formatted like a standard WordPress blog. So there's a designer that helps make these little things and kind of position it like this ultimate guide. People took it way more seriously than they had this video. The other thing about this video, a few things, is it was 6 minutes. People like to talk about like length of video and how people have shorter attention spans or whatever. In this case particularly, like the video could be whatever length. It was 6 minutes. It could have been 45 minutes. It really does not matter. The purpose of this video was not to sell anything, but it was to increase time on page on that blog so it ranked higher. The only purpose of this page, most of the people that go to this page are my competitors or people that are freelance video people or whatever. The whole idea of this page is just get more traffic. So the video could be super long. The other thing, this thumbnail kind of sucks. There's probably some better things. I'll talk about thumbnails in a little bit, but also the quality of it's not very good. I filmed it myself in my office, so the quality of this content, particularly the content, it's contrary to the first video, that has to be sick because you're going to send it to people and it has to represent who you are and get meetings for you. It's got to be super sick. This can kind of not be as sick. It can just be all right, which if you go watch it, you'll see it's not horrible, but it's just all right. So anyways, make the brand video, make it sweet. A few tips on the brand video. Simple things to make your videos way better. Just good music. If you watch videos, most people have just horrible music in their videos. It's so kind of like, nauseating, like clappy ukulele shit. This, there's other sites, Music Bed. James Waters loves Music Bed. And Premium Beat. And you go on these sites, you can find good music tracks. It kind of sets up the vibe of your video really well if you have a good video, good music. And then the other thing is voice. So voiceovers, it's super easy to get a voiceover now. And one thing I would recommend on voiceover is that you don't use kind of the radio style voice. Most voiceover people, if you just scan like the site you need to know about is Voice Bunny. It's like Uber for voiceover. You should never ever record your own voice for like a video. It's so cheap to use Voice Bunny. But when you're scanning through Voice Bunny, there's most traditional voice talent is like derived from like the radio style of delivery. Like, no, they kind of have that tone. Try to find people that are a little bit more human in their delivery. It's just kind of the modern way that, when you look at most highly successful videos that have voice now, the best way to do it is to hire an actor that's not a voice talent, that just does acting, and then have them, do your voiceover. And you also, if you need talent, use backstage.com. It's a good place where you can pretty much book talent, kind of like, it's like Uber for talent. All right, so the takeaway here is just look at your top blogs, make long-form videos to help increase time on page, get the videos high up on the page, and it will really help them rank higher. So the other thing, this is another thing that I'll kind of talk about. Once we were getting to about 20 or 15 or so people, I had some extra time, extra cash to start to do some side ventures and whatnot. So a business partner and I, who was actually selling for me at the time, he quit. I convinced him to come back. He kept quitting. he was kind of one of these, people that, there's some people that go work at companies that you kind of know that they're not staying. They're going to start their own business. And if you're a smart CEO, you try to find ways that you can leverage, things together. So this guy, Teddy, was selling for me, and we ended up starting a business together. And about a year and a half ago, we started. He was leaving. He was selling corporate videos, and he kind of know he wanted to do YouTube. And I'm like, all right, well, let's try to find a business model or a category that we can try to attack. So we built this randomly in Cleveland. We have the largest wristwatch review show in the world, and we built it in about a year and a half. So basically, the business is we take watches. He talks about them. I don't know shit about watches. I hate watches, but here we are. So we review watches, and we get about 1.5 million viewers a month. We've got about 130,000 subscribers, and this was a consumer brand or consumer content brand that we really built from scratch. So I'll give you a few tips. This is the hardest thing in the world, and I got extremely lucky in building this. So most people, if you're gonna let's build a highly successful YouTube channel, it's like I will probably be able to repeat this, but I'll fail 9 times out of 10 in trying to continue to do this in other categories. But I'll give you a few tips to think about. The first thing I think is when we got started on this, it was totally random. We had tried 3 or 4 other channels. I had looked at doing a fishing channel. I had doing a handful of other channels. When Teddy first uploaded this video, it was just a random thing that he did for fun. So if you're a business and there may or may not be an applicable way for you to make a brand such as this just by something that you're authentically passionate about. But the other thing, when we started, the first video we just put up, it got like 10,000 views. The first thing you want to do when you're thinking about doing YouTube or any type of YouTube content is consider, is there an existing audience for it? Are there competitors in that category? If there are not, it is going to be very hard to build an audience on YouTube. There are competitor watch reviewers. There's tons of them. But there wasn't too many that there was not room for another person. There are other categories that it's not really as ripe. Like right now, if you're like an entrepreneur, personally, this is my perspective, I don't think the entrepreneurship advice category or the entrepreneurship motivational content category is ripe for another player. And there's other categories that are similar to that. But first, finding a category that has enough competitors, there's enough people in there to make content for, but not too many that's like, whatever. The second thing was having a great host. So Teddy was really kind of charismatic, knew about the product. So if any of you have companies that, hey, we want to start a YouTube channel, finding someone that could deliver content in a way that keeps people watching and coming back is interesting. The other thing is when we started, the videos were good content talking about relevant things, but they were super low product. They were super, horrible videos. Low quality audio, low quality, and they were super long. So that's the other thing. Even if you're a larger brand, honestly, in my opinion, a lot of companies hire Clum Creative for pointless projects, like completely dumb projects. Oh, we want to start a YouTube channel, so let's make 10 videos, and here at Clum, here's $15,000 for this series of 10 videos. I'm like, sure, but it's not going to help you. What we did, we just put out as much content as possible early on that was cheap, still had the content in it, but did not spend on production value until we learned what the category specifically was going to be. And we learned all those things. Most companies, they look at doing video production and they overspend and they overcomplicate it so much and they end up never getting started, and versus just like being okay with, and then hire a firm or build it, scale it out once it's, you already kind of figure out what's working. The other thing is, so upload a ton early on. The other thing is thumbnails. Find like designers to make thumbnails. It costs super cheap, even on like Upwork or Fiverr. There are good people on those platforms that can at least make the videos at least a little bit more clickable. The other thing is start with a title in mind. It's the first thing people see. Try to, listicles still do well. The other thing, but I'd have no concrete advice across the board. A lot of it's just you have to upload enough to get any type of understanding of what's going to work or what's not. Most people just don't work hard enough to get the quantity out that they can start to see anything one way or the other and adapt. They're like thinking about what might happen versus just like, you know, making bad content early on. So that was a brand that that's still building, and I think if you know, you're looking at doing a YouTube channel, you can shoot me an email or whatever. I'm always happy to kind of give any advice. I'm not a YouTube expert. It's just something we're doing. There's a lot to learn. I don't think anyone that is a YouTube expert probably is not a YouTube expert, or they be, you know, making a bunch of YouTube channels. So the other thing, if you're trying to do an in-house video team, I have 2 minutes left. So if you start, let's say, a channel, or you're starting doing like consistent content for your blogs, the worst thing you can do is hire a video person first and then start doing that later. Figure it out yourself as the entrepreneur or as the content or the marketing leader. Figure out what the need is. So you don't hire someone and then they're trying to figure it out on the job. Because here's the deal. None of the video people want to work for you. They barely want to work for me. Okay? No video people want to work in marketing. They will want to quit their jobs as soon as possible. They're just doing it so they can do other creative stuff on the side. So if they have to come in and figure out this job and, you know, be an entrepreneur, you're not setting them up. They're going to quit. The second thing is your content's not going to be great in-house. It's very unlikely for you to get a highly talented freelancer or highly talented video person that can shoot, edit, you know, do all these things. You're going to have to sacrifice typically one or the other. They're usually just a shooter, and maybe they're all right at editing. They're more of an editor, all right at shooting. I would opt, if I'm you, I'd depending on what product you are, I'd tend to go for someone that's more of an editor. Where I would recruit is Instagram. There are hordes of people like me, like when I was 18, 19, that are just posting cool videos I'm doing on Instagram. Most 18, 19, 20-year-old video people are broke. If you offer them $40,000, they will probably go for it. Do not recruit on, you know, anything else. You know, I would definitely just use hashtags like Cleveland Film or Cleveland Video or whatever. To really build it out, to get great content in-house, you're really going to need 5 full-time people. It's going to be a shooter, editor, creative director, and depending on how you go. So just kind of know that as you expect. Like if you're doing a brand video, I'd much prefer you hire a company like mine. I'd much recommend that you do that. Just because it's not going to be that good for those critical assets. The other ones you can, you know, sub out or do it internally. The other thing is Whipster and Premium. I've talked about Premium Beat. Whipster is a great platform. If you're doing a lot of internal content, it allows you to like do, you know, click on the screen, do, you know, revisions and feedback pretty quickly. So yeah, those are a few things. I think that's it. And there's some money. I don't know why that's there, but. So thank you guys. It was a lot of fun, and you know, yep, pretty much to sum it up, make a brand video, send it to everybody if you're business to business, make some case study videos, and you know, just try to make some good content. And yeah, appreciate it, guys.